I was raised in a family where control meant strength and vulnerability was weakness. And never let them see you sweat, never let them see you cry. And so as a result, I controlled my environment. And as I grew and the stressors became stronger and more often, I controlled the situation. I coped by controlling everything. And so I had everything under perfect control.
I always played football. I played football ever since kindergarten. It was awesome. I've just always fell in love with it. You start seeing the bigger guys at the gym and, man, I want to be like that. You know, I want to do whatever it takes to be, you know, Hulk, you know, as some people would call it. Looking back on it now, I can see how I wanted to make other people happy, even if it means it wasn't making me happy.
For me, the way of coping, the way of making the world work is to project something out here so that people won't see what's in here. And I'd always heard the scriptures, you know, about we can't save ourselves through works. But I never wanted to believe that, I guess, even though I thought I did. Because for me, there was always a yeah, but.
Once you start doing that, it just layers on. You know, your sadness, your depression, your issues just, you know, it just builds up and up and up. And it gets to the point where you don't know what to do with it. And my world is trashed. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel. You know, and I just start losing a whole bunch of hopes and ambitions that I once had.
It was when we first got married and our first child was a sick baby and we were in medical school and it was so hard. And I remember being in the waiting room of the ICU of the Texas Children's Hospital and just saying to God, I don't know what to do with this because I can't handle this. I can't control my child and his health and him getting better. And I remember at that moment saying, God, you have to take this from me. I can't do it by myself.
I learned that I was just trying to fill a void. You know, it's just this area right here was just empty. There was nothing. And another resident, hey, have you ever heard of God? Oh, yeah, you know, but it doesn't do much for me. Well, how about you read this passage? And it was the story in Matthew of Jesus being crucified. And from then I was hooked. It was like reading the best book that you've ever written. You're just like, oh my gosh, what happens next? What happens next? And it turns out that, you know, Jesus died for my sins. Jesus died for my sins? Wait, me?
There's never been a true, opening of the heavens and the angels singing and all becomes clear. It's just been a gradual dawning, and sometimes I have to relearn the same stuff over and over. But each time I learn it, it gets a little bit better and a little bit clearer. But I've learned that God truly does love me exactly the way that I am. And that I can't do anything to increase that or decrease that.
You know, when I think about he dying for people's sins, I see the other happy people that I was talking about, and those are the people that he died for, not me. No, it included me. And from then on, I just started reading, I started praying, and I got into church. And church aren't these walls, you know, it's the people inside them.
This church has been so forgiving and interested in our family's well-being. We've had, our son Will this year has had a lot of personal struggles, and there's hardly a day that goes by that I don't get a text or I run into somebody in the how's Will doing? How are y'all doing as a family? And it's knowing that we have that kind of a support group here when we need it has been extraordinarily helpful.
We were created for fellowship. Mm-hmm. We were created because God wants to be in fellowship with us. And I think about participating in this marriage, which is ordained of God. I think about being a dad, and I think about being a member of this church, and how God uses those relationships to minister to me, to touch me, to be in relationship with me through these people in my life. And I tell you, there's days when the best Bible I've ever read is Moyne. The best Bible I've ever read is the look in my son's eyes when we have a good conversation.
No matter how bad it can get, no matter how much weight you feel like you're pulling or you're carrying, no matter how bad the past, the present may seem, God's grace is a little bit more powerful than that.
It's like the story about the Velveteen Rabbit, being loved into being real. And that's been my experience with grace, that I've been loved into being real.